Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. It keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Lillie Holmes. Today we got some exciting stuff to talk about, starting with The Weekend. Also going to talk about the best of Miley Cyrus. And we're going to talk about a category that may be relevant in your life or may not be relevant in your life at all. We're going to talk about the best songs to dance to at your wedding, talking about your first dance, that really sappy love song. And finally, the 2021 8th Annual iHeart Radio Music Awards are coming up soon, and we're going to talk about the nominations and who I think is going to take home. I hope everyone is continuing to doing well, staying healthy, maybe getting your vaccines, and moving on with our lives out of this, you could say, poop-tastic year that we've had. Oh, it's over a year now, starting back in March of 2020, and it is May of 2021. It has been a long year for sure, but the light at the end of the tunnel is finally rising, and I am happy to, say we are coming out of the pandemic. But let's start out with The Weekend. We have talked about The Weekend a little before. He, is doing so well with his career. He's been charting so many Billboard charts, not just Billboard charts. He's been charting so many, music charts in general, breaking so many records. Such a talented individual. And I believe him and his sound define a generation, most definitely. For those of you who don't know, The Weeknd's real name is Abel McConan Tesfaye. He is from Canada, and he is a songwriter, he sings, and he's also a record producer. Those are three things that you will simultaneously see pop up for a lot of different artists. Not many artists only sing. They usually songwrite, and they get into kind of record producing as their career goes on. He started out in 2010 on YouTube, like many, many popular artists these days. YouTube is a great platform for people to start on, and The Weeknd went ahead and utilized that tool, and it's gotten him to great places. He started, really getting recognized from YouTube with his independent stuff for what he was called as having a very dark style of R&B. I wholeheartedly agree with that right there. I would definitely call The Weeknd more of a darker style R&B or hip-hop or pop. I mean, he's the kind of music I feel like you listen to at a Halloween party that's like really modern, if that makes any type of sense. I love his music and he has a great sound, but it's not... I don't know how to describe it, but it really is that dark style vibes you get when listening to it. In 2012, he got his first, official signing with Republic Records. After he signed with Republic Records, he re-released some of his, you could say, independent work, and his debut studio album with the record label was Kissland. That's not as popular as any of his other albums, but, everyone starts somewhere. The album of his that, really started getting a lot of recognition was the one that came out in 2015, The Beauty Behind the Madness. It became one of the best-selling albums of the year. That is probably his most well-known album. I shouldn't say most well-known. The most well-known album from, when his career finally, took off. Yeah, I'm sure everyone knows the song Can't Feel My Face and The Hills. They were both, number ones on the Billboard Hot 100. When I think of The Weekend and his, career and kind of where I first heard him, The Hills was the very first song I heard by him. So that even now when I think of The Weekend, that is the song I associate with him, and Blinding Lights now as well because of that song was just everywhere. The Can't Feel My Face was the second song I believe I ever heard by him, and I really like the song The Hills. Can't Feel My Face, not really a fan of that, but they both did phenomenal. Again, were number ones on Billboard's Hot 100. Something really awesome for The Weekend was he won Best Urban Contemporary Album at the 2016 Grammys with his album Beauty Behind the Madness. Like I said, that was the album that really kind of took off and got his career a huge push, is how I would put it. The Beauty Behind the Madness album is one of the, I'd say, probably, I'm not going to say the only album, but the album that has the most dark style R&B out of kind of his music now. I don't listen to his music, religiously and like that, and I couldn't name every one of his songs, but, from the sampling I've done since his music has came out and up until now, I'd say that album has that really original dark style R&B that a lot of people would associate with The Weeknd. In 2008, The Weeknd released the Starboy album, which also won at the 2018 Grammys for, again, the Best Urban Contemporary Album. So The Weeknd has, had numerous nominations and Grammy wins at this point. He is very, very talented and deserves all of it. I'm sure everyone has probably heard about the tragedy of him not getting any Grammy nominations at this year's Grammys, the year 2021. And with no nominations, you don't win any awards. So it has been said that he was snubbed, and he said that for the rest of, his career, his music will not be considered for a Grammy nomination or anything like that. He will not be submitting his music for any kind of Grammy consideration or anything. And you know what? I agree. I don't even understand why. I mean, he definitely deserved a Grammy this year. We've talked about it before. His song Blinding Lights was the first ever song to spend over a year in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100. I mean, that's an entire year in the top 10. That's not a year in the Billboard Hot 100 staying at like 99 or something. That is in the top 10. And the top 10s are not that's not full of songs that just are, whatever songs. That is a hard thing to come by to get in the top 10, nonetheless stay there for over an entire year. I mean, I think everyone kind of forgets how long a year truly is. I mean, the pandemic, as we kind of stated, it's been over a year now, but I think back to a year ago when it kind of started, and things have just changed so immensely as far as just music in general. I mean, you could talk about whipped coffee and how popular that was a year ago. Now no one's talking about that again. So many things change in a whole year is my point. So for him to stay there in the top 10 for an entire year, over a year, I believe he still is in the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, the most popular chart, I would say, in the world for music, is just so awesome that there's honestly no reason that he should not have been at least nominated for a Grammy. It is, I'm going to say what it is, disrespectful for, whatever reason he did not get one. It's just so messed up. And so I think The Weeknd is going to be the first of, not the first, but he's one of, many artists in the upcoming years that are kind of, you could say, boycotting the Grammys. And those are the words The Weeknd used when stating that he's not going to be submitting music for Grammy consideration for the years to come in his career. So I unfortunately think we're going to see a lot more of that in the future. But moving on, Like I said, The Weeknd has 3 Grammys. He's been nominated numerous times. He has 5 American Music Awards, 9 Billboard Music Awards, and we talked about it before. He has, I believe, 17 or 18 different Billboard nominations for this year's Billboard Music Awards. And I think, he's gonna very much add to that list this year with all the things he's nominated for and how he's completely controlled the world of music in the past year. He has 2 Video Music Awards and 9 Juno Awards. A really, really, really interesting thing I learned about The Weeknd was he was the first artist to ever simultaneously hold the top 3 positions on the Billboard Hot R&B songs with the songs The Hills, Earned It, and Can't Feel My Face. So all 3 of his songs are in the top 3. I mean, that is so amazing. And as an artist, I can only imagine how cool that was for him to look at, charts and be like, oh my God, like I'm the top, like all my songs are the top 3 right now. That is just amazing. The Weeknd is so talented. And like I mentioned before, he describes a entire generation of music and sound, not just with lyrics, but just sound. I think in the past, almost decade now, where we've been heading with pop and R&B is definitely what he creates. And I think I almost think that he doesn't get enough recognition as he should, to be honest. He is very popular, but again, I think he deserves more. Now, I'm not the biggest Weeknd fan or anything like that, but I like his music and I think he's really talented. I don't exactly, keep up with everything he releases constantly, but I end up hearing it even if I don't want to because, again, his songs are so, so, so popular. Let's talk about my favorite songs by him. I don't have that many, but I definitely, the ones that I have, I like them a lot. The first on the list here is Save Your Tears remix featuring Ariana Grande. That has only been out for I want to say 2 weeks now. Not very long, but it is already doing so well. It's sitting at number 1 on multiple charts, or it was. I believe it's still in the top 10. And I don't like the original version of Save Your Tears, to be honest. I'm not sure why. It's just not really my vibe. It is a little too similar to Blinding Lights, and unfortunately I don't like the song Blinding Lights that much. So the remix with Ariana Grande, that hit the spot for me. It really did. I'm a huge Ariana Grande fan, so seeing or hearing, I guess, her and The Weeknd collaborate, they mesh very well together, and they made such a great song. And I'm sure a lot of people can agree. Sometimes they like originals better than remixes, or they like remixes better than originals. And that's where I am with this one. Next, we have the song Call Out My Name. This song is a very, very raw one. He really gets into, his feelings. One part of the song, he says, I almost gave my part of me to you. I don't think those are the exact words verbatim, and a lot of people speculate that he wrote it for his ex, Selena Gomez, when they were dating and she had to have a kidney transplant. A lot of people speculate that he was may have been debating giving her a kidney. But we've talked about it before. Songs have many, many meanings, and that could mean absolutely nothing than the words fit well together and with the sounds. So that I just wanted to throw that speculation in there. Next song we have on the list is In the Night. This is another one of the songs that I associate earlier with his career. It was one of the first songs I heard by him. I like it because it's more upbeat and you can really, really hear The Weeknd's voice in it very well. I think a lot of The Weeknd's music, you sometimes hear the actual, like the instruments and the sounds more than you can hear his voice. And I think in this one, you can really, really hear how talented his voice is, and I really like that. Next on the list, we got the song Starboy. When I first heard this song, or I should say the first probably 25 times I heard this song, I had no idea it was about a car until my coworker, we were at work, and we could play music in the background, And he's like, the song is about a car. I was like, what are you talking about? And he was a car guy, so he knew right off the bat. And he looked at the lyrics on YouTube, and we were listening to them. He's like, and he explained everything with me. I was 16 or 17 at the time, and I, again, didn't really know anything about cars. I still don't really know much about cars. They're not my thing. But, and I was like, oh, wow, I didn't really know what I thought. I'm not sure what I thought the song was about, but it wasn't cars. I think the song Starboy was almost his next hit after, Can't Feel My Face in the Hills and Earned It. I think this was the next bigger hit that came out. And people were like, all right, this isn't any kind of a one-hit wonder kind of guy. He's here and he's here to stay. Next song we got was the first one I ever heard, The Hills. Really, really like this song. Again, first one I heard by him. And it just kind of stuck with me. It's a great song. It has, again, The Weeknd's very talented voice. And this really has, that dark style R&B and those really interesting, I almost want to call them EDM tones to it. Same with Starboy, actually. That keeps you engaged in the music, or keeps me engaged. I have a short attention span, you could say. So when it comes to music, if I don't, if there's not a lot of, you could call, excitement going on, whether it doesn't have to be actual excitement, but excitement in some sort of way, then my attention gets lost. But almost all his songs have that, or the songs that I like have that, especially Starboy and The Hills. Next song on the list here we have is Often. This is a great song as well. It is one of the most popular ones by him that still gets played a lot to this day. I'd say it gets played even more than some of his newer music. It is a great, kind of relaxing song to listen to. And the very last one on the list here is the song Earned It. We've talked about this one before because it was off, I believe, the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack, the first movie, and it was very, very popular before that and after that and in the movie. Again, it's very much a dark style R&B music for him, and I really like it. I love the lyrics, and I love everything about the song, and one of my favorite songs. So Weeknd is so, so talented, and I'm so curious to, see how well he does at the Billboard Music Awards this year, because I just know he's going to take home so many awards, and he's going to almost double the current amount of Billboard Music Awards he has. After we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the best of Miley Cyrus. And don't forget, later on, we're going to talk about the 2021 iHeart Radio Music Awards. We'll be right back.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Okay, everybody, let's switch gears from one phenomenal artist like The Weeknd to the next. Let's talk about Miley Cyrus, the best of Miley Cyrus to be exact, which was very hard for me to narrow down. And, I could sit here for hours and we could talk about all of her accomplishments and everything she's done and how she's broken barriers down in the music industry, not only as an artist, but as a young woman. But we do not have all that time, unfortunately, so we're going to do some quick highlights of her greater things, and also I'll give you guys my favorite songs by her, which again was hard for me to narrow down in any way, and we also could be here for hours if I named every one of my favorite songs, but again, we do not have that kind of time, so I'll give you guys a little bit of my favorite songs by her. For those of you who don't know, Miley Cyrus is 28 years old. She's a singer, songwriter, and actress. She really got her career taken off when she started acting on Hannah Montana back in 2006. It was probably, I'd yeah, I think it was the best way for her to get her start. A lot of you probably know she's Billy Ray Cyrus's daughter. And, even though Billy Ray Cyrus was a very, very, popular singer in his day, I think, if she would have tried to start her career purely as a singer, kind of piggybacking off her dad, that maybe she would not have gotten the love and recognition that she did and that she deserved. I think starting on Hannah Montana on the Disney Channel, really getting her own fan base and creating her own style, you could say at the time, was the best way for her to, get those fans and connect with them and have people fall in love with her talent. I think it was a great way for her to start out, and I'm so glad it did. I am a huge Miley Cyrus fan and a huge Hannah Montana fan, and one day we'll talk about the best of Hannah Montana because two different things. Anyways, Miley Cyrus is the only female in the 21st century to have the most albums on the Billboard 200 charts. Again, for a female. She's got 13 different entries, all from 5 different albums. Amazing. Again, she's broken down so many barriers as an artist and just as a woman in the 21st century. And she is one of my favorite people, one of my favorite actresses, one of my favorite artists, a role model of mine. And again, she will always be one of my favorites. And I could sit here and talk about hours about how awesome she is and how much I admire her and all the great things she does. But she also was named as one of Billboard's greatest of all time, one of Billboard's greatest of all times on the artist chart back in 2019. I'm sure everyone knows Miley Cyrus has a great voice, and it, can flow with many different genres. She does pop, she does some country pop, she does hip hop, she does some experimental genre, and she's also more in the rock category as of right now. That raspy voice she's had more of since she's matured and since she had a surgery a year or two back has really given her that voice that is made for rock, or at least in my opinion. She does great in every category, but I'd say pop and rock is where she is made to live as far as when you talk about genres of music. Her debut album, Miley Cyrus, came out in 2007 with Hollywood Records, and it was interestingly enough, a 2-disc set. One of them was for Hannah Montana, and the other one was called Meet Miley Cyrus. And so, it was a duo thing, and it was the way to get her career started as Miley Cyrus and kind of be separate from the Disney Channel with Hannah Montana. Miley Cyrus, not Hannah Montana, has had 7 studio albums since 2007. First one being Meet Miley Cyrus, and the most recent one being, I believe, Plastic Hearts. It has been a whirlwind career for Miley Cyrus, and I'm sure everybody knows that. At the 2013 VMAs, I know you know what I'm talking about. I think that was the biggest part of her career where she stepped out and was like, I'm not Hannah Montana anymore. I'm not a child. Stop representing me with, this childlike image, and I'm grown and I can do X, Y, and Z. And a lot of people saw it as very controversial and inappropriate. They're like, you are a role model to so many young people, and that was just not appropriate by any means. Personally, I didn't really have an issue with it. I mean, I was 13 at the time, and I was just like, oh, that's in a different light than I am used to seeing Miley Cyrus, because, again, I grew up watching Hannah Montana. I am the perfect, age for the generation of Hannah Montana. So, again, I grew up with her, and I really did admire her as a role model, and I still do. So her little VMA stunt, you could say, some people called it, didn't really, do anything for me. And I think everybody can agree, if you watch the VMAs and have for a while now, the Video Music Awards were a place where very history-making moments happen. You got the Miley Cyrus incident. You have the Kanye West and Taylor Swift incident, along with a few other things that have been history making. So, I'm not surprised that happened. And I don't really, again, I have an issue with it. I mean, Miley Cyrus could not stay in the Hannah Montana image forever. Some artists, not some artists, but all childhood actors and actresses, they all have their own way of breaking out of that childlike image that everyone associated with them. And Miley Cyrus did it in a very abrupt way, and I don't have an issue with it. And you know what? She's grown up and she said, hey, maybe that wasn't the best way for me to come out and say I'm an adult now, but it happened and here we are. So, and again, here we are. She is still one of the most popular artists in the world. So her Bangers album and tour was very, very controversial. And I'd say this is the album that when it came out, it was really her, also kind of her saying, I'm not a child anymore, and I'm an adult, and I can do whatever I want, sing about whatever I want, and I have that right. And I love the Bangers album. And I mean, you could say, some people labeled what she wore for the album tour and the music videos as provocative, but I guess you could call it provocative. Again, I don't really have an issue with it. Some people did, some people don't. So I would say that was a huge marking point of her transitioning from Hannah Montana to Miley Cyrus, even though she'd been done with Hannah Montana for about 2 years at that point. It was still a big point in her career where she really I don't want to say turned a different leaf, but you could say turned a different leaf. And that's not really in a negative connotation or anything, just growing into and maturing into a woman with a kind of new style than what everyone was used to seeing for her. Something really cool about Miley Cyrus is she is the founder of the Happy Hippie Foundation. This is an organization that fights injustice for homeless youth, LGBTQ youth, and a lot of other, vulnerable populations and just youth that are at risk in general. It has helped out, I believe it's over 1,500 youth in the Los Angeles area, along with reaching many, many other youth outside of Los Angeles, helping so many people in times when they needed it the most. And Miley Cyrus is a great person. She is not judgmental, and she has a huge heart. So that's such a cool foundation, and I'm very, very happy that it exists. And I almost forget, or I don't forget, I think a lot of people forget that Miley Cyrus is not, kind of in the spotlight trying to cause trouble or anything like that. I think a lot of people just said when she was done being Hannah Montana, she went through a wild phase and, she wanted to be a troublemaker, and I don't think that's the case at all. Again, I think she was just really trying to break free of that Hannah Montana image. Hannah Montana was no doubt probably the biggest thing Disney has ever produced. And I don't really mean that in a numbers way. It may be that way in a numbers way as well, but I just mean with popularity. Hannah Montana just broke so many types of records and was just known everywhere around the world. It was a well-known household name. But again, we'll talk about that one day when we get to the best of Hannah Montana. Back to Miley Cyrus. So she has spoken out before that said the artist that has inspired her the most in her career would be Elvis Presley. I think that's really cool because Elvis Presley is, even before her time. She's only 28. But that's a really, really, really cool thing because I wouldn't have thought about that at all. She also has said that Madonna, Dolly Parton, Joan Jett, Shania Twain, Lana Del Rey, One Republic, and numerous other artists have really inspired her sounds and, her vocals and all that stuff. She is a very, very, you could say, she's very raw with her music, I'll put it that way. I'm sure everyone remembers the Wrecking Ball music video where she was sitting naked on the wrecking ball and, breaking down walls and stuff. And everyone was like, that's so inappropriate. Why is she sitting on there naked? And, I think it was her way of, singing about the problems she had with her breakup in a very raw and emotional way. Because her being naked, I think, represented such a vulnerable thing, how she made herself very vulnerable with her relationship and open to the public. And, when it came crashing down, it truly was like a wrecking ball. So, and she's like that with a lot of her music, very, very raw and real. And a lot of people criticize, the type of the music video and how she was naked and stuff like that. But I think it represented a lot and needed to be done. Let's get into some of my favorite songs by her, because again, we'd be here forever if I tried to name them all. The first one I got on the list here is Nightcrawlin' featuring Billy Idol. This is one off her most recent album, and it is awesome. I really, really like it. It's more of a rock song, and it's just fun to listen to. Next, we got Angels Like You. This is a kind of more raw song like Wrecking Ball and a few of her other ones. She's kind of just singing about a partner who was a true angel in her life, and that she did not deserve the partner, and she kind of messed it up and stuff like that. They're very popular on TikTok, and it is a sad, sappy love song, or you could say breakup song for sure. But again, it's also very raw and real, and shows a part of, again, a celebrity life that not many people ever want to talk about, how they do experience heartbreak and stuff like that. So it's a great song. I love it. Next one is Midnight Sky. One of my favorite lines in here is, I was born to run, I don't belong to anyone. Really, really, really love that line. As we know by now, Miley Cyrus is definitely more of a rebel, and that fits with, her music and her style perfectly. And it's also just a great song, and has a good beat and good sounds to it, and she sounds beautiful when listening to it as well. Next song on here is Wrecking Ball. We just talked about that, so I'm not going to really get into it, but it's a great song with a lot of raw emotion, and I love it, and it will always be a classic when it comes to her. Next on here is Mother's Daughter. This is off one of her more recent albums as well. This is just, she's kind of, talking about she's her mom's daughter, and she's got some fire to her. She's not going to back down or anything like that, and she's strong, and kind of just saying she's a, strong, confident woman. And, I always love representation for strong, confident women, so it's awesome. Next on the list, we got Adore You. This is a slowed down song from her Bangers album. This is just kind of, it's a love song, just talk about how she really adores her partner. She loves her partner. She feels very safe with them, and everything about being with them, really is kind of Candyland, butterflies, walking in sunshine type love. And it is very, very slowed down, and her voice is very raw in it as well, just like Wrecking Ball, even though it is kind of the opposite of Wrecking Ball, because it's such a love song. It is still very raw. Next one we got on the list here is Get It Right. This is off her Bangers album as well. This is more of a upbeat one out of all the other ones on the album. I really like it. Fun to listen to, and just doesn't have much meaning behind it, right? It's not really like Adore You or Wrecking Ball, where it has this huge interpretation and really heavy heart feeling. Get It Right is more fun and kind of want to say lighthearted feeling to it. Next on the list here, we have The Climb. This is out of her Hannah Montana movie, but it is labeled as sung by Miley Cyrus. It is one of my favorite songs ever. It is really about how it's not always about achieving that goal that you want, but as much as the climb, hence getting to the goal that you want and all the struggles and sacrifices you have to make to get there. And it stands for a lot, and I admire it, and it will definitely always be one of the best songs ever, in my opinion. Last one on here is Party in the USA. This is a classic. I mean, how was it not? I remember when this song came out, people were thinking she was dancing a little provocatively, and they're like, well, that's not the most inappropriate, but we'll let it slide. And I just look back on it now, and people really thought that was the most provocative she'd ever get. And oh, how things have changed. Anyways, great song. It's definitely a bop. Always gonna love it. Miley Cyrus is so insanely talented, and again, I admire her, and she's always going to be one of my role models. I would definitely recommend checking out one of her latest albums, or any of her albums if you're not familiar with them. You can't really go wrong. It's just such great music with such great meanings behind it, and just such fun music to listen to as well. After we come back from the break, we're going to talk about songs to dance to as your first dance at your wedding. And also later on, the 2021 iHeart Radio Music Award nominations list. We got a few new cool categories to talk about. Be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be, visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's switch gears to songs to dance to at your wedding, specifically your first dance. Now, I'm not married, never been married, not engaged, not helping anyone plan a wedding, not planning any type of wedding, period. But for some reason, I had the urge to talk about songs to dance to at your wedding for your first dance. It is a very, very heartfelt moment from what I've heard and what I've seen. It is a song that means a lot to couples as they go on in their marriage, and it, is supposed to signify a lot about the couple from what I know. Some couples, they choose really, meaningful songs that have a huge message about love and life and eternity with each other. And I've also seen some couples that just pick some really, really silly songs that, also kind of describe their relationship in a way. The songs I have on the list here are all pretty similar. They're all pretty, sappy love songs. And, they're just ones I think about that I think people would really like to dance to. So if you're listening to this and maybe you are planning a wedding or helping plan a wedding and they're looking for a song to dance to as their first dance as a couple, a married couple, maybe look into some of these songs. First one I got on the list here is Say You Won't Let Go by James Arthur. This is without a doubt probably one of my favorite love songs ever. I heard it for the first time at a wedding. My cousin and his wife, it was their first dance at their wedding together. It is such a, lovely song. It is so, so sweet. If you haven't heard it, go check it out. It is basically just about James Arthur is singing, he kind of goes into a short story about their life as a couple when they first started dating. He held his partner's hair back when she was throwing up because she drank too much. And then it kind of jumps to he'll take the kids to school, bring her breakfast in bed. And, he sings, I, want to dance with you and be with you until we're old and gray. And just kind of say you won't let go, as in you'll be here forever. And it's such a heartfelt song. It is so meaningful. And I think it is a great, great song if you're looking to dance with your partner together at your first dance together as a couple at your wedding. If you're looking for a song to really show them and how much you love them and how much they mean to you, that is 100% one of my favorite songs ever, especially in the love sappy area. Next, one we have is A Lifetime by Justin Bieber. This is off one of his recent albums, Justice. It is from the Triple Chucks Deluxe version. God, that is still a tongue twister for me. It is kind of just a song about someone you really love and you want to be with them for a lifetime. One of my favorite lines in there is, some people come in your life for a season, some people come in your life for a reason, and it's just kind of going on about how he tried, you could say love in a few different ways, and it never worked out for him, and it makes sense as to why it didn't work out, because he finally found that partner that he wants to be with and spend the rest of his lifetime with. So it's another great love song that you could dance with your partner with as your first dance at your wedding. Next, we got Perfect by Ed Sheeran. Another sappy love song. By the way, I think I mentioned that most of these are sappy love songs. Perfect by Ed Sheeran is also one of my really, really favorite songs ever. It is just kind of about how he thinks his partner is absolutely perfect. And I think this is a good one to dance to at your wedding if maybe you're high school sweethearts or you've been dating since you were really, really young or something like that. One of the lines in the song is, "We were just kids when we fell in love." And, and then another part is, "We were just kids, but we are so in love and fighting against all odds." And so, again, if you've been together for maybe a really long time, this might be a good song to look into, to dance into at your wedding for your first dance. The next one we got is Anyone, again, by Justin Bieber, one of his more recent songs off the Justice album. I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard this one by now. Pretty big hit on the radio. This is about, if it's not you, it's not anyone. Justin just kind of sings on and on about how there is no one, in life he wants to spend the rest of his life with. And, it's impossible for there to be anyone else in the world that works with him and fits as well with him as the current partner he has. So that's a great song to dance to at your wedding, to, kind of show your partner and, share that love and, the whole point of why you got married, because you don't want to be with anyone else for the rest of your life. So a good one as well. Next, we got Night Changes by One Direction. This is a little different than the rest of the ones we've already talked about, but I picked this one out because this one is kind of a song about, there's something about how fast the night changes and how much, things change. And I think that's a good one to dance to at your wedding if you've been together for a really, really long time. My boyfriend, his mom and stepdad, they were together for 9 years before they finally got engaged, and by the time they got married, everyone was like, finally. So, but to them, it felt like, it was almost yesterday that they met, sometimes they say. So this is a good one to, dance to if you've been together for a really long time, and it almost feels like you just met every once in a while, but at the same time, it also feels like you've been together forever. So next one, we got Better Together by Luke Combs. This is a great song, especially if you're a country fan, to dance to at your wedding. This one is just about how you are better together. He, goes into detail about how some things just go together very well, like cup of coffee, sunset, trucks and gasoline, I think is one of the references he makes. And all referencing they all go very well together, just like him and his partner do. So that is a good song to dance to at your wedding. And a lot of these songs that I'm going to name here, when I'm suggesting them, I don't exactly mean all of them in the exact tone we're used to hearing them. If you have a DJ at your wedding or a band or something, they can sing them and they can change up the sounds and things. So it's not exactly how, you're used to listening to it. I've seen that a few times, not only at weddings, but you could say talent shows or other things like that. They'll take a song that they really like and they'll kind of change up the beats and stuff a little bit. And that's something you could definitely do with some of these songs. Next song we got on the list here is Forever After All, again by Luke Combs. Luke Combs is so talented. He has such great songs and such great love songs as well. This song here is a little more, you could say upbeat than Better Together, but is still a great love song. We've talked about this before as one of my favorite country songs and just really feel-good songs and stuff like that. So I won't, go into too much detail, but again, if you haven't heard it, it is about He's saying that people say that, not all relationships last and all this, but this is going to last forever, no matter what anyone says. So great song to dance to for your first dance at your wedding. Next one we got on the list here is Let's Get Married by Vito. I know you're probably like, well, why are they going to dance to a song called Let's Get Married after they just got married? So some of the lyrics in this song are fell in love with my best friend and you got great values and I really love you. So even though, it's the title of it is Let's Get Married and it says that a few times in the song, right after you just got married, it's fine. Just ignore that. It has some really great lyrics to it. And with this one, I would, me personally, I would probably change up the beats to it a little bit and the sound in the background if I had a band there or a DJ or whatever, because I like the song a lot, but I feel like as my first dance with my partner at my wedding, I may not want it in the direct way the song I'm used to hearing the song. Maybe I might want to change it a little bit, but I still think it's a great song to listen to and a great song to dance to, possibly at your wedding. Next, we got All of Me by John Legend. This is a classic right here. John Legend has such a angelic voice, and when you're listening to this, you can tell that he really, really loves his partner. One of my favorite lines in the song is he's like, "What would I do without your smart mouth?" And I can relate to that for sure. I feel like a lot of people in relationships can. So I think this is a cute song to listen to because, again, lines like that and a few others in the song that highlight the not every relationship, or not really any relationship, is all gumdrops and butterflies, and anyone who's ever been in one can relate to that. There are struggles and, there's attitudes and stuff like that. And you kind of get that feeling from this song because of how raw it is. But also at the end of the day, he's singing about, I love you more than anything and I will give you all of me for the rest of our lives together. So definitely would recommend, dancing to that at your first wedding. Or that being your first dance as a couple at your wedding. Hopefully you only have one wedding. Not judging if you have more. Have as many as you'd like. But I feel like the goal of weddings is to only have one. Whatever. Moving on. Next song we have is Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran is one that produces such great love songs, and he has such a great voice. One of my favorite lines in this is people fall in love in mysterious ways, and I think that is a great line, for couples, and especially for the couples out there that they never saw the relationship coming with a person. If you're dating someone where it was kind of just a fluke and you never saw it, you never expected it or anything like that, I definitely would recommend this song. That's kind of, what this one is about. And it's just such a sweet love song as well. And I think it's actually perfect how it is if you wanted to just leave it as is and not change anything about it, for a wedding. Next, we got God Gave Me You by Blake Shelton. This is a song I'd recommend if you are more of a religious person in any sort, or spiritual, you could say. This is one of my favorite country songs, one of my favorite songs, period. And I know I keep saying that at every song. I just have a lot of favorite songs. But this one is just about Blake Shelton saying, God gave me you for, the ups and downs and everything. And I need you in my life and I love you so much. And all that cheesy, sappy love song stuff. Really good song. And a great one to dance to for your first dance at your wedding. If you are more religious, spiritual, even if you're not more religious or spiritual, even if you just really like it. So next, we got Bless the Broken Roads by Rascal Flatts. Again, you could say if you're a little more religious or something like that, look into having this one at your wedding for one of your first dances. This is just another one, Bless the Broken Roads that led me to you. Kind of just talking about, sometimes you go through a struggle and you're like, nothing good could ever come out of this, and then something really good comes out of it. And sometimes that is meeting a friend or a partner or meeting the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And that's kind of what this song is about. So a good one to dance to at your wedding. Next, we got Adore You by Miley Cyrus. We talked about the song a little bit ago when we were talking about Best of Miley Cyrus. This is a very, very raw song by her, and just raw in general by any artist. one of the lines she says, and it is, we were supposed to be in holy matrimony. So that is a good one to dance to at your wedding for sure. And you just talk about how much she adores her partner and how much she loves him and all that. So great way for, I believe, two partners at their wedding to kind of dance to a song that has a lot of meaning behind how much they love each other. Next, we have Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis Presley, a classic. So I don't even know. I'd say millions of people have danced to the song at their wedding at this point. If not millions, maybe hundreds of thousands. Very, very popular song. Everyone has heard it at least once. You have had to heard it at least once. And if you haven't, I don't know how you escaped that. Just go take a listen. I'm not a huge Elvis fan. He definitely is before my time. I will definitely acknowledge he changed the music industry forever, and he's very, very talented. Just because he was long before my time, I haven't heard too much of his music. My mom was a huge fan of him, and she played his music a lot, but I kind of just tuned it out. But this is just kind of about Can't Help Falling in Love with You, kind of what you could almost say gravitational pull towards your partner and how much you love them. So great one to listen to and great one to dance to at your wedding. Next, we got 1,000 Years by Christina Perri. This is from one of the Twilight movie soundtracks. I haven't even seen all the Twilight movies, but I really like the song. The song, one of the, you could say best lines is I have loved you for 1,000 years and I will love you for 1,000 more. That would go good with the whole, you could say eternity and like love you till you die, those vows you take at the wedding. It's a good one. And, even if you don't take any vows, the whole point of getting married is you're going to love them until you die and forever on in eternity. So, love them for 1,000 years and 1,000 more. Definitely, good song to, dance to and love to. Next we have is Marry Me by Train. Now, this is another one you're thinking they already got married. Why are they dancing to a song that says Marry Me? I think, this is a good one to dance to your wedding because it's really, really cute. One of the lines in this, he's like, if I ever get the nerve to come talk to you in this coffee shop, please marry me, that kind of thing. It's just very cute and heartfelt. So it's a very good one to dance to. Just, again, very, just simple, you could say, almost very, very simple. Just, he's like, this is us and this is how much I love you. And there's not exactly a huge special story to it, but, I love you, that type thing. Next we have is Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars. This is one of my favorite songs as well. I'm sure everyone has heard this. It is so popular at this point. It's been around for over 10 years, I believe. This is us talking about how beautiful, someone is. You love them just the way they are. You want to be with them forever, and everything about them is perfect. And it is a great song to dance to at your wedding, really just be there with your partner and appreciate each other, and you are accepting them for who they are, because at the end of the day, you can't change someone. So everyone has flaws. Some people have more than others, obviously. But, when you get married, you're accepting that person for the good, the bad, the ugly, and all that stuff. So, and that's kind of what Just the Way You Are is about. Last one on the list here is 10,000 Hours by Dan and Shay, featuring Justin Bieber. I got this one on the list here because one of the things he says they sing is, I'd spend 10,000 hours, get to know you and your heart and stuff like that. And I think that's really, really cute. Just, good one to dance to at your wedding. Because it's just kind of talking about I would spend as long as it takes to make sure I know you and I understand you and stuff like that. And just kind of talking about how being in a relationship, you have to know each other to really connect. And, great song to dance to at your wedding. All these songs are great songs to listen to and, good possible recommendations to have your first dance to at your wedding. Again, maybe look into them if you are planning a wedding, getting married soon, or maybe if you were just trying to plan your perfect wedding for whenever the day happens. Just take a look at them. After we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the 2021 iHeart Radio Music Awards. We got some new interesting categories to talk about. We'll be right back.
Watch Watching TV has changed over time. Streaming has become the new norm. That's why Golden State Media Concepts television podcast dives headfirst to the world of cord cutting. Want to be on the loop of what's hot in Netflix? Or if it's not a preference, what about original shows in Hulu? We've got you covered. Join us as we fill in the blank and talk about movies to stream and what show you should be binging. This is the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast.
Okay, everybody, let's get into the 2021 iHeartRadio Music Awards. It will be premiering on Fox on Thursday, May 27th. It is the 8th annual iHeartRadio Music Awards. I'm sure you all have heard of iHeartRadio before. It is a huge company that they own a lot of radio stations, and they put on a lot of shows, along with one of the most popular ones, Jingle Balls, every year. I've been to one of the Jingle Balls before for a local radio station, and they are just a really, really cool company that deals a lot with music and radio specifically. The awards this year have a long list of nominations. We've got a lot of artists that have repeats, and they've also added a few new categories that are socially voted that I'm excited to talk about. This year, fans have a really, really cool opportunity to participate in so many different, again, socially voted categories, some of them being Best Fan Army, Best Lyrics, Best Music Videos, and something I'm very excited to talk about is there is the first ever category of TikTok Bop of the Year. That is one very much earned and something I'm excited to talk about and get into. The social voting started on April 7th, and it is open all the way until May 19th. So if this is something you're looking forward to, go ahead and go on their website and start looking at who you want to vote for the socially voted categories. Like I said, there were multiple artists with multiple nominations in different categories. Some of those artists are Ariana Grande, Bad Bunny, Billie Eilish, BTS, Cardi B, Dua Lipa, The Weekend. The list goes on and on and on for a long, long time. There are so many artists this year that have really, you could say, ran the music industry. Really put a huge weight on the shoulders during the pandemic to put out good music. So the first category we're going to talk about is Song of the Year. We have Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, Circles by Post Malone, Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa, Rockstar by DaBaby featuring Roddy Ricch, and then Watermelon Sugar by Harry Styles. This is a tough category. I shouldn't say tough category. This is a tough person for me to say who I think is going to win. I think it's going to be between Blinding Lights and Watermelon Sugar, because as we've talked about Blinding Lights before in The Weekend, it's everywhere. It's, stayed in the top 10 of Billboard for over a year now, and it has been a massive hit everywhere, especially on the radio. But Watermelon Sugar was also a very big hit on the radio the first few months it was out as well. So I think that's going to be, it's going to fall between those two people. Anyone on here is a good win, but I think it's going to be Blinding Lights or Watermelon Sugar that's going to take home on that one. The Weeknd and Harry Styles both are kind of definition of pop music on the radio, so very much is going to be a close call for who wins that one. Next category, we have Female Artist of the Year. We got Ariana Grande, Billie Eilish, Dua Lipa, Megan Thee Stallion, and Taylor Swift. This is another category where I think it's going to be a pretty close call, but For this one, I'm going to have to go with Megan Thee Stallion, almost without a doubt, even though I do think it's going to be close. Megan Thee Stallion has become so popular in the last year. She's released a lot of notable music, a lot of trending music. So if she didn't win, I'd be very, very surprised. If she doesn't win, I'm going to go with Dua Lipa, to be honest. Dua Lipa, again, has had a lot of trending success over the past year. She's won big in a lot of different award shows at this point, a lot of nominations at different award shows. And she's so talented. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with Megan Thee Stallion, aka Meg Thee Stallion, or Dua Lipa for that one. By the way, there's no diss to Ariana Grande, Billie Eilish, or Taylor Swift. Ariana Grande has, she's done a lot of work in the past year, but I don't think she's rose to the top as much as Megan Thee Stallion is. And that's just, and again, not a diss to Ariana Grande in any way. Ariana Grande is just, she's steadily been at the top for the past 4, 5, 6 years. Megan Thee Stallion has recently really, shot up in her career in the past year. So I would definitely say she's the female artist of the year for that out of the categories we have here. Billie Eilish, I don't really keep up with her, but I haven't heard that much about her in the past year compared to the other artists on this list. I know she's got a documentary coming out, but again, I haven't heard too much. So I wouldn't really see her winning this category, but anything is possible. And then Taylor Swift. I mean, Taylor Swift is, I think, nominated for at least one category at every award show every single year because she is just nonstop 24/7 with her music, and it's awesome. She could always be Female Artist of the Year with all the great work she does, whether it's music or anything else. So, it's definitely possible that she could win this, but I'm really going with Megan Thee Stallion to take home with this one. Next category we got is Best Duo/Group of the Year. We got BTS, Dan and Shay, Jonas Brothers, Maroon 5, and 21 Pilots. I'm going to have to say BTS or Dan plus Shay, or Dan and Shay. It's written Dan plus Shay, but I always want to say Dan and Shay. But I really think it's going to be BTS or Dan and Shay. I think I've heard about them the most. BTS is always up to win almost any category known to man. They are so popular. And then Dan and Shay have released a lot of music over the past year that's became so popular. Jonas Brothers, I love them. I am a OG Jonas Brothers fan, but I don't think in this last year they've put out that much music. Now, for 2020, the 2020 iHeart Radio Music Awards, I would have said definitely, their comeback from 2018, Best Duo/Group of the Year, 100%. But, since the pandemic started, they haven't, done as well as, BTS or Dan and Shay. And Maroon 5, I haven't heard too much of them, so I don't think their music has been any more popular than it has been since their career started. So, I guess it's possible that they win. Obviously, it's possible that they're nominated, but I really think it's going to be BTS or Dan and Shay. And 21 Pilots, I don't really hear much about them, so I can't really speak on them too much, but BTS or Dan and Shay for that one. Next category, we got Best New Pop Artist. The nominations are 24 Karat Golden, Black Bear, Doja Cat, JP Saxe, and Pop Smoke. This is going to be a good one here. I think it's going to fall between 24 Karat Golden, Black Bear, and Doja Cat. Honestly, I think I can't even choose who I want to win that much. I think I want Black Bear to win because I've really been getting into his music lately. He's done a lot of work with Machine Gun Kelly, in the past year, and as I mentioned, I'm a huge Machine Gun Kelly fan, so I would like to see him win, but 24 Karat Gold and Doja Cat have really been showing out this past year as well, and I love their music, so I really think it's going to fall between those three. I would love to see Doja Cat win. She's, been so popular lately, but this is going to be a close one. By the way, Pop Smoke is also a that's a good one too. That could win. JP Sax, not really. I don't think he's had as much popularity as the other four on the list here. But obviously, award shows surprise you all the time. I think I'd really like to see Black Bear take home with this one, or Doja Cat. Those are my top two, but I really think it's gonna be between Black Bear, Doja Cat, and 23 Karat Golden. I don't know if we're gonna be able. We don't usually get to see, unless it's socially voted, how well or how close a call is. I'm sure you guys have watched the award shows and they're like, oh, by just 5 votes or something, they'll say that, but you don't really get to see the stats. It'd be interesting to be able to see the stats on this. Again, I don't think we're going to, but I think that's going to be a close call. Next category we got is Best Lyrics, which is a socially voted category. This is a long list, guys, so bear with me while I read it. We have Adore You by Harry Styles, Before You Go by Lewis Capaldi, Blinding Lights by The Weekend, Cardigan by Taylor Swift, Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa, Everything I Wanted by Billie Eilish, I Hope by Gabby Barrett featuring Charlie Puth, If the World Was Ending by JP Fax featuring Julia Michaels, Intentions by Justin Bieber featuring Quavo, and finally, Life is Good by Future featuring Drake. Oh, this is a socially voted category again. So if you were voting, you definitely got your work cut out for you as to which song you were picking, because I have multiple artists on this list that I really, really like. And I don't even know who I think has the best lyrics on here. I mean, Justin Bieber's on this list, as we mentioned before. I'm a huge believer, but I don't think I'd vote for Intentions, to be honest. As much as I really like the song, I don't know if I would say best lyrics for the year out of every other song on here. I think this is hard. This is so hard. I think Adore You by Harry Styles has a good chance because Harry Styles has such a huge fan base and it is socially voted. I like the lyrics to Adore You. I think we've talked about it before as a feel-good song. Just kind of talking about, I love you so much and I love everything you do and I adore you, that kind of stuff. And I mean, Intentions by Justin Bieber featuring Quavo. Justin has such a huge fan base that, I mean, he has, since it's socially voted, he has such a huge chance of winning. And I mean, same thing with Billie Eilish and Taylor Swift. They both have such huge fan bases that whether people, masses of people really thought the song had the best lyrics, the fan base is going to go and they're going to make sure whoever they want, their favorite artist wins. I'm sure everyone can agree. When it comes to fan armies, it can be a vicious fight. I think Before You Go by Lewis Capaldi probably has the best chance of winning. And I think that because Lewis Capaldi really hit it out of the park with this song. It is very raw and real, and it has whoever's singing at the top of their lungs, like they're feeling the pain that Lewis Capaldi is feeling when he sings this. And I also think it has been so popular on social media and stuff, that it would be, I don't want to say impossible, but it would be almost shocking if it didn't win just because of the popularity of it. And don't get me wrong, a lot of these other songs have had a lot of popularity, but I think Before You Go has had the most social popularity, socially speaking. I also see I Hope by Gabby Barrett featuring Charlie Puth with a good shot as well, because I Hope has had a lot of social trending as well, where it's been very, very popular and, people like screaming the lyrics at the top of their lungs. So that has a good chance. I mean, Blinding Lights by The Weekend, I don't really see this one winning because I don't think the lyrics they kind of pale in comparison to the rest of the lyrics on this list, to be honest. And that's no hate on The Weekend. He's done awesome with this song. But I think what people really like about this song is the sound of it more than the actual lyrics. And I could be wrong. Again, I'm not a music critic. This is just my opinion. But I don't see him winning this category. Any other category for that song, definitely, but not this one. I'm going to say Before You Go by Lewis Capaldi is who I think is going to win for this. And I think who I want to see win for it as well. I think he deserves it. The song is done, immensely well everywhere. And, I believe it means a lot to him as well. So I'm going to go with Lewis Capaldi for it. Last category we're going to talk about here is my favorite one, the TikTok Bop of the Year, which is socially voted as well. We got Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, and then Lottery, aka Renegade by K-Camp. We got Savage by Meg Thee Stallion, Savage Love by Josh 685 and Jason Derulo, Say So by Doja Cat, and then WAP by Cardi B featuring Meg Thee Stallion. This is a hard one as well. I think it's going to come down to Renegade and Savage. I think I saw those two the most on TikTok, and I'm going to let you know now, I spend a lot of time on TikTok, like way too much time. My boyfriend is always complaining, that's all you do is watch TikToks. That's seriously all I do in my free time. If I'm not, at the gym and I'm not doing schoolwork or anything, I'm watching TikToks. I'm not a huge TV person. I have a few shows that I watch once in a while, but eventually I get bored and I end up on my phone and I end up on TikTok. TikTok is thankfully the social media that there is always something new. You can refresh Twitter and Instagram a million times, but, in a certain amount of time, there's not going to be anything new. It is never like that with TikTok. There is always plenty to find on the For You page, and I really love it. So I really think Savage or Renegade is going to win this one. Again, that's the one I've seen with the most social standing on TikTok. Savage Love by Josh 685 and Jason Derulo, that was very popular as well. And so was Say So by Doja Cat. All these songs were popular on TikTok. That's why they're on here. But when I think of the ones that I saw the most, it was Renegade, Savage, and Say So. So I think it's going to... Actually, no, I changed my mind. I think it's going to be between Savage and Say So. So Savage by Meg Thee Stallion and then Say So by Doja Cat, I think is going to be where the chips are really going to fall. This one, since it is socially voted, we can check out to see who is doing the best. And I'm going to go check that out, right before it closes on May 19th. So probably about the day before I'm going to look at it, or probably every day up until May 19th. I'm going to check it out because I'm very curious to see who's going to win TikTok Pop of the Year. It's going to be a very close call, like a lot of these categories here. A lot of these artists, they really, really have held this past year and the pandemic on their shoulders with all the music they're releasing. And I also think it was a great time for some of the artists who really were making their way into the industry. Like I said, the iHeart Radio Music Awards are premiering on Thursday, May 27th on Fox. It is the 8th annual ones. Got a lot of good categories here. Going to have a lot of good performances. The Weeknd and Ariana Grande are going to be performing their Savior Tears remix there, along with a few other performances. I'm very, very excited about it. Just like we talked about how great The Weeknd is and how great Miley Cyrus is, all the artists on this list are phenomenal. I hope everyone can enjoy the list of wedding songs I gave to you, and maybe you can find one for your future wedding or a future friend who's going to be married, or maybe you can just go listen to some love songs and feel really lovey-dovey and sappy. Thank you guys for listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'd like to ask you all to please remember to subscribe to the show and write a nice review. It really helps us out. Also, please go ahead and give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let us know how we're doing so we can entertain you guys in the best way possible. See you later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music music, from sports to entertainment and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.